You woke up this morning, you checked your phone, you made coffee, you had a plan for your day. But 10,000 years ago, your ancestor woke up at sunrise and they had no phone, no coffee, no plan. Just their body, the land, and about 12 hours of daylight. So, what did they actually do with all of it? The answer is nothing like what you'd expect, and it changes how you think about your own day entirely. The morning ancient humans didn't have alarm clocks, they had the sun. The moment light hit the horizon, the body woke up automatically. Not slowly, not reluctantly, instantly. Because for 300,000 years, staying asleep past sunrise was dangerous, every predator on Earth knew that sleeping animals don't fight back. The first thing they did was check if everyone was alive. Not metaphorically, literally. Every morning began with a head count. Then came fire. If the fire from the night before had survived, good. If it hadn't, someone had to go get it from another camp, or spend up to 2 hours making it from scratch. This wasn't a small inconvenience. Fire was survival. No fire meant no cooked food. No cooked food meant weaker bodies. Weaker bodies meant shorter lives. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups have found that the first 2 hours of every morning were almost entirely devoted to one thing: getting the group ready to function, warming up, eating leftovers from the night before, checking tools, checking injuries, deciding together where the day would be spent. That last part is important. Ancient humans made decisions as a group every single morning. There was no boss. No one woke up and gave orders. Researchers have found that hunter-gatherer societies were remarkably flat in structure. The best hunter didn't get to decide everything. The group talked, the group agreed, the group moved. This is not how most of us start our mornings. The middle of the day? Here's what nobody tells you about ancient humans. They were not busy all day. Every documentary you've ever seen makes it look like they were constantly running, hunting, fighting, surviving. The reality is far stranger. Studies of modern hunter-gatherer groups, the Hadza of Tanzania, the San Bushmen of the Kalahari, the Agta of the Philippines, have found something that modern people find almost offensive. Ancient humans worked an average of 4 to 6 hours a day. That's it. Not 8 hours, not 10 hours, 4 to 6 hours. And that number includes everything: hunting, gathering, building, cooking, childcare, all of it. In 1966, anthropologist Marshall Sahlins published a paper that shook the academic world. He called hunter-gatherers the original affluent society. Not because they had a lot, but because they wanted little and had enough time to get it. So what did they do with the rest of the day? They rested. They talked. They played. They groomed each other, not just for cleanliness, but because physical touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Grooming was how they maintained relationships. Relationships were how they survived. Children played together for hours with no supervision. Adults sat in groups and told stories about the morning's hunt. Old people taught the young ones which plants to avoid. This was not laziness. This was biology doing exactly what it was designed to do. The human brain is not built for 8 consecutive hours of focused work. It never was. We built that system in the last 200 years, and we've been exhausted ever since. What they actually knew. Here's what's actually astonishing. Ancient humans were not simple. To survive, a single person in a hunter-gatherer group needed to know and remember the location, season, and edibility of several hundred plant species, the behavior patterns of dozens of animal species, the geography of hundreds of square miles of land. Basic medicine, which plants healed wounds, reduced fever, stopped bleeding. weather patterns, star navigation, water sources. Researchers estimate that the average hunter-gatherer carried more practical knowledge in their head than most modern people will ever learn in a lifetime. In 1985, anthropologist Irvin DeVore said, "These people are not primitive. They are the most knowledgeable humans who have ever lived in relationship to their environment. They just didn't write any of it down because they didn't need to. They passed it mouth to ear, story to story, generation to generation." The end of the day. As the sun began to drop, everything shifted. The group came back together. Whatever food had been gathered or hunted was shared, not divided by who worked hardest. Shared equally. Anthropologists have found this pattern in virtually every hunter-gatherer society ever studied. Hoarding food was one of the worst things you could do. It made you a threat to the group, and threats to the group didn't survive long. Then came the fire. But here's what's worth sitting with. The ancient human day was not a struggle. It wasn't a desperate race to survive. It was short bursts of intense effort, long stretches of rest and connection, and evenings spent together around a fire. They had no weekends, and because they barely worked. They had no vacations, because rest was built into every day. They had no therapists, because they were never alone with their thoughts long enough for it to break them. The loneliness epidemic, the burnout epidemic, the anxiety epidemic. None of those existed for 290,000 of the 300,000 years humans have been on this planet. We didn't become broken. We built a world that breaks us, and then we forgot what the other kind felt like. You will spend roughly 90 years on this planet. Your ancient ancestors spent theirs moving slowly through the land, knowing every plant and animal around them, resting in the middle of the day without guilt, and ending every evening with the people they loved gathered around a fire. They didn't achieve more. They didn't build more. They didn't live longer. But researchers who study these groups consistently report one finding that modern scientists can't quite explain. They were happy, not content, not resigned, happy, in ways that most modern humans will spend their entire lives chasing and never find. We didn't lose paradise to a flood or a war or a plague. We traded it away, one convenience at a time.